The year is 1971, where time-traveling movie producers set back to try to save or improve upon, at least, the fledgling sci-fi franchise Planet of the Apes with the third one, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Can it be
It's not
done?
f- it's not fledgling. We're on the third movie, all right? There's a lot to save on the line here.
Oh, absolutely. Stay tuned. Cue the intro.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Mirror Movie Universe podcast. I'm Nate. I'm one half of the hosts of this shindig of a show, and across the aisle and across the country from me is my co-host Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here for Escape from the Planet of the Apes. This is a great. I love this one. This is going to be
It's
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. But in order to talk about what we like about this movie and what we would fix, we're going to have to talk about what happens in Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Now, if you recall, in the last film, the world ended and everyone died. Not much you can do from there.
Or
Like
is there?
that's well, so that's the tough thing, right? So the world died in the future.
Hmm.
And turns out while the second half of the last movie was going on, our three main characters, or not main characters, our three side characters that we enjoyed from the last movie, Cornelius, Zira, and someone we've never met before but was there the whole time, we swear, a guy named Dr. Milo, escape in the spaceship that we arrived to the planet of the apes in the first place, which is Earth in the future. So they escape in that ship. They catch a time rift back to 1971, which is the year the ship launched in the first place with Taylor in it. They land off the coast of California somewhere, and they get picked up by the United States military. And they're like, "Hey, welcome back!" And they take off their helmets, and oh my God, it's not Taylor and his buddies. It's Milo, Zira, and Cornelius. And they kind of all agree between them to not say that they can, not demonstrate that they can speak. They want to pretend to be monkeys that have just been trained to press buttons and all this kind of stuff and fly the ship back because they understand that it's dangerous once they find out. Milo gets killed because of this. They're in a zoo, or not a zoo, but a bunch of cages. They're being studied, and Milo gets accosted by a gorilla and killed. And Zira and Cornelius kind of go on after this. They're like, all right, we can speak. They get called into congressional hearings and they're like, hey, where do you come from? And they're like, we're from your future. And they almost sort of half let it slip that humans are dumb in the future and that they're hunted and dissected and all this kind of stuff, but not quite, not really. And there is an evil government guy named Hassline or something like that. I'm gonna call him Bad Bowtie McGee from now on in the recap because I don't remember his name. He's played by a guy who was the bad Nazi on the TV Rat Patrol from the 60s. Only I would care about that. It doesn't matter to you. But he thinks that there's something more going on. And in fact, there is, because as we know from the first two movies, the apes have taken control of the planet and everyone's dead as far as intelligent humans go. And he starts, being a little bit more suspicious. Cornelius and Zira get treated as absolute celebrities and all of this good stuff. And Zira is visiting, like a museum, and she faints. And they're like, oh, she must have gotten freaked out by this stuffed gorilla. And she's like, no, actually, I'm pregnant. And it turns out that she is carrying a baby from the future, which will be born as an intelligent ape. Eventually, Cornelius lets it slip that there's a plague in the future that kills all of the dogs and cats, and people adopt apes as house pets. And because of this, those apes become more and more intelligent and eventually lead a revolt against humanity. Hassline Bowtie Bad McGee, he gets Zira drunk at some point and gets more of the truth out of her. So they are now the not just like these fun visitors from the future that the media is obsessed with. They are like the harbingers of the end times, right? It shifts very quickly, and because of this, um they sort of go on the run. They escape with a couple of humans that were researching them at the beginning. I don't remember their names, Mr. and Mrs. Nice McGee, I guess. And they go on the run. They end up at a circus with a guy named Armando, who's played by the ever talented Ricardo Montalban, who played Khan on a very early episode of this podcast in Star Trek II. And he takes them in. They hide there for a bit. One of his chimpanzees is having a kid, and so they're he's like he bonds with them a little bit. Cornelius and Zira, I think because of someone that Cornelius accidentally killed, go on the run again. There's this big showdown on a boat at the end. Bowtie McGee is killed by Cornelius. He kills Cornelius, he kills Zira, and he kills the kid. And like the future is stopped. Humanity lives. But do they? Because they switched babies with the chimpanzee at the circus. And so the intelligent ape is going to be brought up as an ape in the circus for perhaps future films. But that's more or less how the movie ends. It's this nice romp around 1971 because we didn't have the budget to go out into the desert and do more shoots with a bunch of makeup. Let's just do 2 or 3 apes. Dan, what did you think about Escape from Planet of the Apes? What do you like about it?
Well, I like everything that you just ended on there. You know that you don't have the budget, and so instead of trying to do it with bad makeup and bad special effects and make it a schlocky B movie, which, man, I really hope they don't do for the next 2 sequels, they
Mhm.
know their limitations and they stick to it. They go, oh, okay. It's also a really clever way to get out of the end of the world and everything to bring it back. So you have like it's a smart story. It's done in a way that the budget isn't like terrible, and you get to focus on Cornelius and Zero, which is really nice. They've been there the last 2 movies. You care about them as characters. You care about them a lot, and so they've already have like the audience built in. It's almost like a nice little
Yeah.
character study film, watching the 2 of them interact.
They have the most credibility out of anyone in the series as good people.
Yes.
Because they are from this bad society and they're the only ones that protect the innocent, who are the humans, right? So like they have this credibility to the audience, but to the rest of humanity, no, they do not. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the other thing, I really like the themes in here, the thematic, like, are we destined to repeat this? Can we change the future? If so, how? How do we change the future? And of course, there are people who are angry and blinded by rage at this and think that they're the harbingers of the end times and stuff, who don't want to sit down and try to work with them and everything else. But like, I really love that thematically, like, is this the end? Is this setting up what's to come? How do you like what is the best way to prevent this future? Is it to just kill these guys like Hassline thinks, or is there another
Mhm.
way forward? Are we destined to repeat our errors? Are we caught in this just eventual loop? And the movie kind of hits you over the head that yes, we are, but I think that it's actually kind of fascinating to think about and talk about and ponder on if we
Mhm.
can change the direction of things. So I really like the themes. I really love the characters. I really, really, really like this movie. It is my favorite, even more so than the first one. Yes, even more so than the first one. It's really
Hard disagree. Hard disagree. The first one is the best of the bunch because it sets up the momentum of all of these. And this is probably the highlight of the sequels. It's certainly better than Beneath. And if you think that Conquest or Battle is better than Escape from, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. But it's a very very well done film
yeah.
um, for the concept of it. But yeah, anything else you like about this movie?
I think I think that that's everything in a nutshell. What do you like about Escape?
I think that it embraces its budget very well.
Yes.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes definitely had a lower budget than the original, and you can tell because even though Warmonger McGee and Dr. Zayas and Cornelius and Zero they had some pretty good ape makeup, and I mentioned last time that the mutant makeup was really good. A lot of like the background apes in the second film are just kind of like they're static masks. They're not very well done. And in the original movie, they had the budget to make every ape seem really convincing. So In this movie, they knew that they couldn't pull that off a second time. So they just have the three, and then very shortly into the film, just the two. And putting it, in 1971 America plays really well with the budget. You can shoot on a lot of location. You don't have to make anything absolutely crazy, and you can still do something interesting with the direction of the franchise, which I agree, getting it out of the future, good idea. Also, the reactions of the public make total sense.
Yes.
Like in 1971, you can totally believe people being like enamored with these ape celebrities doing cutesy things and then slowly being like, wait a second, harbingers of the end times. Like you could see them if this was remade, and the new Planet of the Apes films don't do anything like this, but you could see this being remade with social media today and
Oh,
being like
absolutely. Yeah.
like, oh, they're so cutesy, they're trending on TikTok or whatever. You could it plays in a way that I think is universal, not just in 1971, but is in the modern day. And so, as crazy as it is, it's almost a believable story. There's something
Yes.
universally human about it, which is ironic as hell to say about Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it plays well. I'll give it that. It plays really well, and it's the best of the sequels because of it. Um, all of the little cutesy moments where they're like, "What's wine? Oh, it's sort of like grape juice plus." Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, it's all the little cutesy stuff. It works. It works really well. Um,
I
and
also
yeah.
think Roddy McDowall and Kim Hunter are great as Cornelius and Zira. And like
Hmm.
we've seen them over the last couple of films. We're genuinely excited that they're gonna have a baby. And when that like
Hmm.
bundle is shot, your heart just breaks thinking that
Hmm.
they've lost their child until it's revealed that he's safe in the circus. But just breaks for them. And that's a testament to
Hmm.
their acting. It's a testament to the characters that they've built over this time. Like we feel for them as people. It's
Hmm.
really, really well done on their part.
I agree. And the last like that I have about this movie is Roddy McDowall's performance. Like
Mhm.
the only reason why I think the fourth movie is watchable, and the fifth movie is not even worth your time, but the fourth movie is watchable just because Roddy McDowall just gets to chew the scenery as falling into evil.
Mhm.
As he plays his own son in the fourth movie, but he has such range over the course of these movies. The third one's probably the best for him, and that's why I think that he's fantastic in that role. But yeah, great film. It is your favorite.
It is.
What do you want to fix about it?
Right.
Like,
I as soon as you said let's do the Planet of the Apes, I knew exactly what I wanted to fix about it. I have
mm,
a grinding pet peeve in this film. Right smack dab in the middle of Escape from the Planet of the Apes, they have this meet the apes kind of thing, and they bring on a supposed expert to explain time travel. And he does it with a really weird analogy of a painter painting a painting of himself painting a painting of himself painting a painting of a painting. And it just kills the pacing. It
mhm,
makes no sense. And if you
yep,
think about it too much, plays its hand way too early that we're caught in this time loop where everything is always going to occur and that
yeah,
Charlton Heston going to the future sends them back, which causes the ape uprising, and it plays it like a movie too soon. And I
mhm,
think that the writer knew that that's where he was going, kills the pacing, doesn't explain everything well, and like I said in my I like thinking like, what does this mean? Oh, they've come back in time. Is that going to set up the future that humans fear the most, or is it actually going to help it? And he's just
mhm,
like, oh no, it's a painting of a painting of a painting of a painting. Um, just kills it dead. So my fix is take that out. Just cut it.
mhm,
It does nothing to anything. Take
mhm.
out that, I don't even know how long it is, 90 seconds? Just
Yeah.
remove it.
I agree with you because so the time travel stuff has been done and done and done and done so much, like the predestination stuff. And with very few exceptions that do it artistically, films like Donnie Darko, a couple of episodes of Doctor Who, and I'm going to digress into a lot of different things here. The only thing that you can really do with the time loop paradox stuff is to laugh about it or dismiss it outright.
Yeah.
Like Avengers Endgame is like, won't that cause a time loop? It's like, nah, that's not how it works, and they just kind of dismiss it. Or there's a couple of franchises that laugh about it, like Deep Space Nine in Star Trek. They go back to the past, and Bashir jokes about being his own grandfather just so he can seduce like a random woman that he sees. Like
Hmm.
they use it as a joke. They
Yeah.
almost never play it seriously. And Escape overplays its hand on the
Oh,
paradox thing
totally.
and then plays it through the next two movies like, oh, it's still a surprise. Like this was my problem with the first one. It overplayed the twist. Like the twist of the whole five original films is that it's a time loop. And if you realize it by halfway through, like, what are you doing? You know?
Right. Right.
Um, Not my fix though.
Well, do tell, sir, what is your fix?
The villain of Escape from the Planet of the Apes is entirely uninteresting. There's a reason that I don't remember his name, Hasselblad or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
There's a reason I refer to him as Bowtie McGee, because I don't find him interesting at all. He's just advisor to the president, whatever. I think that the way to open this movie is by you can insert a little scene at the beginning of this movie where he is like a nerdy scientist who is following where Brett and Taylor and the rest of the astronauts disappeared, and he's
Ah.
like, oh, they went through a wormhole, and like the conservation of whatever theory and all of this, will sends that, they'll send a spaceship back, there will be something that lands. um Make him like a crazy, like he's got like, red string on a cork board with pins on and behind him and all this kind of stuff. Like make him like crazy at the beginning, and then when the astronauts land and they turn out to be apes from the future, he suddenly gets credibility, and he
Mm.
suddenly gets the ear of the president and all of this kind of stuff. And it's not just like, oh, he's, a nerd who knows about the future and all this kind of stuff. It's he doesn't know what to do with this newfound power and fame and all of this kind of stuff. And then, he suddenly has the ear of important people, and people are listening to him. And the only thing that he can do is stop this terrible future that he's been warning about, the entire time. Um, and it gives him a little bit more interesting motivation, gives him a little bit more spice. He's not just a guy wearing a suit. If you have him being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist at the beginning who's proven right, perhaps even by coincidence, he's proven right. I think it makes the villain character a lot more interesting,
Hmm.
um, and makes him a little bit of a linchpin in this cycle of time. I think that makes him a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, he's very
But
one-dimensional. I mean, I will say that
yeah.
you're starting to get really one-dimensional villains, and in the next ones, oh, everything is one-dimensional, which is weird because, like you said, like in the Ape Society, in the first two films, you have these different levels of vying for control and everything. Dr. Zaius is sort of in charge, but he's also nuanced and stuff. And then here
Mhm.
you just get a one-dimensional cardboard cutout of a villain. Another way to do that would be to have him related to one of the astronauts and expecting
Oh,
his brother or something to be coming back through, and instead it's these apes, and he's like, what happened to him? And maybe it's the guy who's stuffed or something. Like, what
I would
happened to him?
underplay that. I would underplay that as much as possible. I wouldn't have him be Taylor's brother. I wouldn't even have him
Right.
be the stuffed guy's cousin. I would have him be related to the astronaut who dies at the very beginning of the first one, the one who dies in hypersleep.
Oh, there you go.
um,
Yeah.
because then the ape surprise for him is even further removed, because he might ask Cornelius and Zira like, what happened to my sister who was an astronaut, and they're like, who is that? They would have no idea, and
Yeah.
he would have no emotional, like he would still be obsessed with finding out. Lots of interesting stuff you could do. um but yeah, it's either that, which I think makes the franchise a little bit more contextually make sense, or remove the expert from the middle, which makes the film a better film. This is almost very similar to Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Do you want to make
Yeah.
the film a better film, or do you want to make the whole story a more interesting narrative?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what do you want? That's the
What
question.
do you want, audience? If, by the way, if you've never seen Escape from the Planet of the I would recommend it. Like if you've seen Planet of the Apes and you're
Yeah,
like, "What? They made sequels?" This one is worth watching, I would say.
yeah.
It's really interesting. But what do you want? Do you want a more robust villain? And if so, how do you do it? I mean, I like the conspiracy thing that Nate did. Do you make him related to somebody? Do you take out the expert in the middle? Do you not care about that? That's a great time to get popcorn, is when that guy's talking about the painting of the painting of the painting, and you need a popcorn break. So
Am
what do you
scientist
do?
does not make sense. Like
Yeah.
seriously. Like, yeah. It's completely useless in the middle of the film. Get your popcorn. Um, yeah.
Maybe that's what it should be. Just have a little thing pop up at the bottom that's like, this is the time to get popcorn and
Mhm,
bathroom break and have a countdown while he's talking.
mhm. Let's all go to the lobby, right? Yeah,
I love it. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Well, whatever you would do, write down in the comments what you think and which one of ours would win. This is like a friendly competition kind of a thing, and
yeah,
yeah. Let us know what you like to
yep.
do and subscribe because we are going to be tackling Conquest for the Planet of the Apes.
Which is only really interesting because of what Roddy McDowall does with the performance. And then we'll see how far we go from there. But there's lots more stuff coming down the pipeline from this fine production of a show that we have. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.
God bless. See ya.